I've known David Boren for almost 50 years.
I first met David Boren in 1966.
When I met the boss, he was known as Dr. Boren because, as you said, he was my professor in college at Oklahoma Baptist University, and so I've known him for 52 years.
David Boren and I began our public service careers at precisely the same moment. And the reason that happened is that we were elected in the elections in 1966 to the Oklahoma House. He was very young. He was a student. I was young too, but I was a little older than David. It didn't take more than about 4 days for me to realize he was the smartest person in that room. And I've never doubted it since either.
What's amazing, from the back row of the House of Representatives, of 123 members, just a few years later, he was up front at the lectern as the governor of Oklahoma.
One of the most memorable things that I like to say about David's governor's race, he had the most effective prop of any candidate that I have ever seen in his broom sweep the old guard out. And it was so effective. It said so much, and those brooms were all over the state.
So David Boren carrying a broom around the state, let's sweep out the old guard. He defeated an incumbent governor. David outworked everybody, so he's elected governor in 1974 and was the youngest governor in the nation.
He swept the state and probably brought more credibility to the governorship of Oklahoma than perhaps we'd ever had. And from that moment forward, I was a Boren man.
There's no single person who has done more for Oklahoma than David Boren.
As a young person, I marveled when he was governor.
David campaigned for governor in 1974, saying, look at these people who you've elected in the past. Nobody fulfilled their promises. So he made a list of promises that he could fulfill.
At that time, David Boren held a statewide Governor's Arts Conference. And the goal of that conference was to identify and prioritize cultural needs for the state of Oklahoma. And topping that list was a concern and a need to nurture young Oklahoma talent before that talent was lost to the person themselves and to the world at large.
And when David was governor, he was invited to give the presentation to the Oklahoma Teacher of the Year. The thing that really stunned him, all this Teacher of the Year received was a plaque and a $100 gift certificate. And so he really thought about that because he realized, you know, we honor athletes, we honor entertainers, we honor business people, we honor political people, all of these people that we honor, and here in the education community, teachers who do so much, who make all the difference for our boys and girls in getting them educated, we do not give them the honor they deserve. And so he thought about it, and he decided that he wanted to call a statewide meeting of community leaders. And he told the story of the wonderful teachers that made all the difference in his lives. I mean, he has wonderful stories of his teachers, you know, through the years. And so at the end of the meeting, it was decided that the Oklahoma Foundation for Excellence, that would be organized, that would be created to support public education.
The people trusted him because he did what he said he was going to do.
He had a reputation in Washington, D.C. of being a person who not only represented the state of Oklahoma very well, but was someone that worked very closely with people in the other party.
Senator Boren was a singular figure in the U.S. Senate. Now, it's true that the Senate and the Congress was not as divided and at odds then as it is today, but even then that existed, and the key role that Senator Boren played, in addition to being a thought leader and a leader on campaign finance reform and education policy and national security policy, was that he was a bridge builder. He was the guy who could get people in a room to find the reasonable solution when everybody was at each other's throats, and he was almost always a central figure in hammering out any deal of any kind, domestic policy or national security policy. It's why the Almanac of American Politics had him as the 5th most powerful senator all the time.
My son was facing some serious very complicated, lengthy surgeries. And the insurance company denied my claim. I was desperate. He said, you need to go to the insurance commissioner for Oklahoma. And she advised me to write to my 2 senators for help. I heard from David Boren. And he called and he said, Linda, we will take care of this. And he did. So I will forever be grateful to David Boren.
He was an incredible leader, and I've stolen all of his tricks.
You know, he was a Rhodes Scholar. He was highly respected.
Well, the fact that he's been governor, senator, and president of our flagship university, that's a triple, and you can't do better than that.
The University of Oklahoma needed a leader like him. And like her, they did beautiful, bright, wonderful things for the campus. They're really getting the right people in the right place at the right time.
There was just this aura when you were on our campus. There was just this feeling of excellence that you don't get everywhere.
I think he's the most well-known president we had, but I think because of David's political experience, he was well known and well respected. I really thought we needed his leadership.
But for me, the most striking of his attributes as president was the extent to which he knew and spoke of the history and tradition of this institution.
Well, I think the main transformation I saw, because I've been involved with the university since I was a student. First president we've ever had that has been as deeply involved, elevating the level of academic excellence at this university in every area.
All of us wanted to be sort of like he and Molly both.
The Boren family has put an imprint on Oklahoma that will continue for generations to come.
The one thing that I think should be remembered for is his kindness and his ability to give everyone a chance to succeed.
Because it speaks to what real leaders do. They lead their people from the heart.
He's a teacher, and that's, I think of his roots at Oklahoma Baptist University, and I'm not one of the folks who knew him as a professor there, but I think that's a super comfortable and authentic role for him, is to be the teacher, to be the educator, to be a minister in a way. He cares deeply for people, has an incredible level of conscientiousness. Now they would say EQ, but he knows what's going on with people and has a heart for what will motivate them, what they need, what's hurting them, and he's just very, very present. And obviously the impact he's made in the country, in the state of Oklahoma, is unrivaled.
Of course, I would hope that he'd be remembered as the founder of the Oklahoma Foundation for Excellence. I guess we would put education, though, as the number one thing that we want him remembered for.
His legacy from OU. He raised a lot of money. I think most people think that he was the best since George Cross. I think he'll be fondly remembered.
What he did for us with the Fred Jones and what's happened with particularly with fine arts, which he's raised national level, was a great university president on a level with the other great universities.
And the classic answer to David Boren's service for Oklahoma is that he was a full-time public servant. And what he did as governor, what he did as U.S. Senator, and just still as a public servant, what he did for OU.
Oklahoma would not be what it is today had David Boren not been elected to the House of Representatives in 1966 and sat on the back row of the legislature and somehow was elected governor, then becomes United States Senator and later President of OU. We would not be as prosperous today had it not been for his half-century of dedicated service.
David Boren's career over all those years was always fulfilling his pledge to public service.
I want to say something to you. In all my years of working with the Arts Institute, I've never met a more intelligent, kind, thoughtful, honest, and honorable gentleman as yourself. Happy, happy birthday, and I am honored and very grateful to be your friend.
Happy birthday, David.
Happy birthday, David.
Happy birthday, President Boren. Boomer.
I know that you have a great host of friends wishing you happy birthday, and I want to do the same.
It's just a real privilege for me to be able to wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, David.
I wish you a happy birthday and many more.
Happy birthday. I love you, you're my friend, and I treasure the relationship I share with you and with Molly. All my love.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Happy birthday.
Hello, President Boren. Wishing you a happy birthday. Hopefully you have a great evening there with everybody. Wish I could be there, but just want to thank you always for the friendship and the support through the years.
Happy birthday, President Boren. I'm eternally grateful for you.
Happy birthday, David. I wish you well.
Wish you a most happy birthday.
Happy birthday, David.
David, happy birthday.
Senator Boren, happy birthday. I love you and appreciate you forever.
We have so much to thank you for. And have a marvelous, happy, happy birthday. And I wish you 80 more wonderful years.
Happy birthday, Chief. I love you, friend.